What's up, closers and entrepreneurs? Tryson Jones coming at you again for another Top 5 Friday. Going to see Tony Robbins, Kevin O'Leary, and Gary Vee speak today, so I'm pretty excited about that. But nonetheless, before I get headed out the door and on my way to some wisdom, figured I would stay consistent and make a video for you real quick. So today, I'm going to talk to you about the top 5 influencers or dream killers in our lives. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday on a sales call, and he'd been working at a mattress factory for 20 some odd years, and that's all he'd ever done. His biggest concern with me was whether or not he was capable of pursuing business, of pursuing, a simple internet drop shipping business, to be more specific. So after going through everything with him, I addressed all his concerns. I knew he was competent. I knew he could do it. But in the end result, he ended up giving me, the wrong information and hanging up when he had the chance to do so in the registration process. So, nonetheless, a lesson to be taken out of that, I always try to take and think, well, what could I have done better? And obviously there's always things that you can take from that. But I started thinking somewhere in this guy's life, somebody told him that he was incompetent, that he was not capable of doing something simple. Maybe he's not capable of doing something simple that most people can do, but it probably has nothing to do with a person's success in business. So he's letting a past experience, probably from his childhood, gentleman's 50 something years old, so we're talking 40 years, 50 years. He's letting that hold him back, and he's let that hold him back his whole life, to the point where he's been working for the same company for 20 something years and only making $40,000 a year. And he actually said his income has gone down over the years. So he hasn't been promoted. He hasn't looked for a new position. And, that's probably to some outside factors as well as his own choices. But if you ever had a teacher, let's go through this video and we'll conclude. Okay, so number one, dream killers are going to be obviously the biggest influences in our life, which is our parents. Typically you'll find consistency in your parents' occupation, your parents' viewpoint or perspective on money, and yours. So if you were raised in a family where your parents went to college, got degrees, and worked a career for their whole lives, then you're probably going to go to college for something, get a degree, and work a career your whole life. If you come from a family who owned a business or businesses, then that's probably the direction that you'll go, or the way that you'll think. And if you if you come from a working class family, then you'll end up being a working class citizen. So ultimately, the paradigms that your parents have and the sayings they have, like money doesn't grow on trees, we can't afford that, too expensive, whatever it may be, all of these things that scream scarcity are instilled in us from a young age. And those are things that you have to overcome in order to succeed in business and to feel like you can do it and you deserve it, and it does come freely and easily if you just put in the work. The big thing is putting in the work, and that's what most people aren't willing to do because they can't overcome one thing, and I'm sure you can guess what that is. We'll talk about it in a minute. So, second is teachers. Teachers are the people that we spend the second most time around. I don't know how to word that. Anyways, we spend more time with teachers than we do with most anybody else besides our parents, or even more time with teachers than we do with our parents as we grow up. So understand that teachers are indoctrinated. They went through the same 12 years of schooling that you are going through or that you've gone through. Then they went to another 6 to 8 years of schooling. And then they went back into that 12 years of schooling somewhere to teach you the same thing that they were taught 15, 20 years ago. So it's a cycle that has repeated itself continually until just now are we starting to see education changing a little bit. And the changes that they're making are sometimes they don't make a lot of sense to me, but nonetheless, you got to understand that most of the stuff that you were taught growing up is the stuff that they want you, Big Brother wants you to think, and believe and understand. It's not always the truth. And so what's in those books is what they want to put in those books. What's in the media is what they want to be in the media. What your teachers teach you is what they want them to teach you. So challenge everything. Challenge everything. Challenge everything. Third would be religious leaders. I've never had this happen personally because I don't seek counsel from religious leaders a lot. I seek counsel from, the man upstairs, the universe, more than I do a physical person. But nonetheless, I know that a lot of people will look up to their religious leaders, and their job is obviously to spread the word, to preach the gospel. And so I talk to people all the time that have they've shown some interest in starting a business. Talk to them about their situation, why they need it, they want it, they have the ability to do it, but their answer is that they're going to keep praying and that God will help them. Well, in the Bible it says faith without works is dead. So if you're a religious person, yes, have that faith, pray, but when an opportunity is presented, you have to be the one to be able to look upstairs and say, is this what you sent me or not? So don't let a religious leader hold you back and tell you not to do something. If you feel like it's the right thing and you feel that to your very core, then that's just him portraying his beliefs onto you. Go ahead and move forward with that opportunity or whatever it may be. Bosses is number 4. So obviously bosses will kill your dream. Why? Because they want to keep you working for them, especially if you're valuable to the company. So most bosses are going to, for whatever reason, try to tell you that something's not going to work, that it's been tried before, that who you're working with is not reputable or legitimate or honest or ethical. Anytime you try to make a change, you try to improve, I have found that most bosses get salty, for lack of a better word. They get offensive. I don't know why. They're suppressive. So don't let your bosses hold you back. They're in the position that they're in for a reason, because they were willing to take that step. They were willing to cut ties with people who they respected, who they were loyal to, in order for their betterment or in order to help other people. So if you have that same inspiration, don't let anybody tell you not to do it. Friends and coworkers is last on the list, because I think that these should be your smallest influences as far as their opinions. These are people that obviously are working with you for a reason. And so if you have a solution or you have something that you're going to do to get you out of that position or out of that workplace, and they try to talk you out of it, it's because they're too scared to do anything about it themselves. They say you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with most. So keep that in mind when you're mingling with people at work. You are who you associate with, and you're guilty by association. So what I would say is all of these things, maybe not number 5, right? But parents, teachers, religious leaders, and bosses, they will try to hold you back out of fear and control. And religious leaders, teachers, and parents use fear to control. So, fear controls you. Fear controls every movement you make. People use fear to control you. Fear can do 2 things. It can propel you or it can paralyze you. So the decision is up to you. But any of these things that ring through your head, like it won't work, you're not capable, it's too risky, it's too hard, it's already been done, there's too much competition, It's all BS. It's all BS. Why? Because they're just trying to instill fear in you for control. So I hope that brought some value to you. I'm off to see Tony Robbins here. I'm stoked for the next 12 hours. I hope to get a lot out of it. I'll let you guys know what lessons I took from it, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in, and go out and end the week strong.